Hello, everyone, and welcome to All Four Downs, the Synergy Sports Podcast Network. It's the reaction show of the college football playoff rankings from the committee was just announced almost an hour ago. And I am your host, Ovi Muniz, with my Twitter at Ovi underscore HSW show, and with my new host, Hector Vasquez. How you doing, Heck?
Hey, what's going on, buddy?
Yeah. So Hector Vasquez is the host of All Four Downs, the NFL picks, which happens every Wednesday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But he joins me in place with Jace, and hopefully later on we get Joe on the air. But if not, Hector and I, we got comic core going on. But hey, before we do start, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and also follow us on Facebook. That's All Four Downs. And let's get right into it. It is the rankings. And look, I'll announce it real quick and we'll go slowly on this one. The committee got together. And once again, you would think that there was going to be a shakeup, but not so much. Mainly towards the bottom half of the top 25 that we'll mostly talk about. But hey, at the beginning, they were talking about Oklahoma State and see where they're going to be at, knowing that now they're on top of the Big 12 along with Baylor, right? And of course, Oklahoma has that one loss, but they could potentially lose again, allowing Baylor to get to the Big 12 championship. So that's in the mix. Where will Ohio State be since they are getting better and better each week? What about Oregon? How about Notre Dame? And then of course every day you hear the news about Cincinnati, where they're gonna be at and stuff like that. So here's our answers starting from 21 to 25. This is from ESPN college football playoffs. Top 25. Here we go from 21 through 25. We have Arkansas, UTSA, Utah, Houston, and Mississippi State. How do you feel about these five rankings right now? Those five teams in the bottom.
So you're telling me that a four-loss team is only three ranks lower than an undefeated Roadrunner team just because where they're at? I mean, this is what we're talking about because of what conference they play in, that the Roadrunners are that just much better than the Bulldogs? I don't even need to see why Mississippi State's even in this conversation in the top 25. And it says that they weren't even ranked, but then they jump in there. Woohoo!
They jump in there with four losses. I mean, listen.
So we're gonna start putting people in there. So you got.
I'm surprised at four loss team because I never picked them in the top 25. Period. But Houston and I gotta here's some comments here. Maybe we can fire you up even more. So Kirk Herbstreit is one of the people on College Game Day, right? And he states, "I know we focus on the top 4, 5, or 6. I just love to see these teams with 3, 4 losses not lose their way, continue to battle, and continue to be rewarded." I'm sorry. There's one thing about being rewarded. I tell you what's being rewarded. You're allowed 6 wins to be bowl eligible.
That's it.
That's your award.
That's it.
It's not my fault that you got 4 because listen, if you're picking the top 25, don't you want the best top 25 teams in college football? I just don't want the mediocre ones, the ones that can't beat any top teams. And that's what Mississippi State has proven themselves. They can't beat top teams.
No, and I agree. I mean, so what? They finished 6-6. They still deserve to be in the top 25? No, I mean, this is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? You got better teams out there that's more deserving of number 25 than a four-loss team like Mississippi State. I mean,
absolutely. Hello. I agree with you 100%. And anybody else that will try to argue about Mississippi State being 6-4 in the top 25 and saying that they do deserve it, well, I'm sorry. I mean, they haven't beaten Georgia. They haven't beaten Alabama. So I don't want to hear that part.
They lost to A&M.
Again, you see, it's keep calculating. If you're not the best in your conference, then you shouldn't be ranked in the top 25. Here's another comment from Joey Galloway, who's actually on my friends list there on Twitter. And he goes, I've been looking for Houston to get ranked. They've won 9 straight games, finally the committee is giving Houston some respect, and this will matter to Cincinnati moving forward. You know what really matters about Houston being ranked that I got made fun of Sunday when I posted a special on my prediction is that I had Houston already ranked for the past 3 weeks. Why did it take the committee to put them there now? Okay. And I'm going to tell you right now, Houston has a bigger chance to upset Cincinnati and the American, the AAC conference. Okay. So I don't understand why Houston is being ranked just now. I really do. I'm dumbfounded on it because they're undefeated in the same conference that Cincinnati's at. And yes, they only have one loss, right? But they're playing good football, just like Cincinnati. They're playing similar teams.
And that one loss that they got is to a Big 12 team. First game of the season. So how are you going to fault them for that? Knowing that they won 9 in a row and you're only going to barely put them at 24 above a team with 4 losses?
Absolutely.
I mean,
look, Joe's coming in right now.
That's why. And that's why earlier when you had started and you showed the committee, when I was counting, I was trying to count how many smart people in that room, and I didn't find one. I just found people with degrees, but no common sense. I mean, seriously, I didn't find anybody in that room that had common sense.
Things got quiet. Wow.
I'm letting Victor vent.
Yeah,
I joke, Hector.
I felt the wind.
Good to see you, my friend. And you know what? I mean, look, is 25 again? Is this not just another example of them trying to build up the strength of schedule for the other SEC teams? Why is there a 4-loss team in this top 25?
We just had that conversation right now.
Right? Why?
Both of us, we agreed that Mississippi State shouldn't. And if you're not in the elite, your own elite in your own conference, you shouldn't be ranked in the top 25. Our bottom line, right? 6
they
and
lost
4.
to Memphis.
Memphis, which is also in the AAC, and they don't even have a great record. I'm just at a loss. But you know what else is at a loss here? I do not have Arkansas ranked in the top 25. Now, Arkansas is ranked 21. They moved up 4 spots from the 25 position. And who they're playing next? They're playing Alabama.
But that's okay. No,
that's not okay.
Because Arkansas is going to stay in the top 25 with a loss because Mississippi State is there. I mean, come on. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, but again, this is an opportunity for them to say Alabama beat a ranked team.
Yes, that was
beautiful.
My point right there.
This is just so typical of what this dude. This committee gets together, obviously with the SEC schedule in hand, and then they lay these teams out, especially in this half.
So let me ask you a question: is marijuana legal wherever they are making these stuff? I'm just asking. I'm asking for a friend. I'm just serious.
It's legal here, I know, but yeah, you know, listen, I've been saying this for like the better part of a year and a half. Why the Big Ten and the Pac-12 and the ACC haven't? I mean, they should have got together 5 years ago to stop what the Power Five is the SEC. Let's make no jokes about. I mean, we know who it is. They're one and the same, and that's what this not. Hector, you know, here's what I said the other night. It's not like the SEC is a dozen teams deep. There's 2 good teams in the SEC right now and a lot of mediocrity. And I don't know how these teams would stack up against, some of the other. I really don't know because even going head to head, watching Arkansas and Mississippi State, it's you're. I'm not convinced that the SEC is putting out some sort of top shelf football that no one else is doing. I don't see it that way.
I think it's the power. I think it's the power 1, the other 4, and then the rest of everybody else. That's what it seems like.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay, because Arkansas, okay, those 3 losses were all in a row. They lost 3 in a row. And then they beat some team called Pine Bluff, Yippee-ki-yay. Then they barely beat Mississippi State. Then they had to go to overtime and barely beat LSU. So that's worthy enough to be in the top 25? Come on, man. I'm going Monday Night Football here. Come on, man.
Ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
It's totally ridiculous.
So I was made fun of ranking Houston in the top 25. And yes, I had them higher than 24. But Houston finally is making it there. And I know we just talked about it, but I just want
but they're not undefeated. They lost the game. God forbid. Imagine that.
But here it is. They play similar teams like Cincinnati. They're both in the same conference. Both teams have a potential to meet at the American Championship during the conference championship, right? But they should have been ranked a long time ago. They should have.
Yeah.
But if UTSA is there, how come we're not giving love to the Southern Belt Conference where you have Louisiana, who's playing good football? They should be ranked as well, which haven't been mentioned. But hey, let's move on here to 16 through 20. Texas A&M 7-3, Iowa, Pittsburgh, San Diego State, and NC State. Now, NC State came out from a loss. It was a great game between them and Wake Forest, but I got a feeling that they should have been dropped a little bit lower towards 25. They do deserve to maintain in the top 25, but I think that being at number 20 is a little bit overrated. Okay, Pittsburgh, they're in a good run. I got Pittsburgh where they at. Matter of fact, I had them at 19. They're at 18 right now. So that I like that, especially they're in first place in their division, who may be playing against Wake Forest in the ACC championship, depending on the outcome this weekend when Wake Forest travels to Clemson. Iowa, look, what can I say about Iowa? They're just there. They're just there to all pick a spot. There we go. I got them at 20, but if they're there in 17, that's all right. But Texas A&M still kills me being there, which they should be either not ranked or maybe they should be at least 24.
See, and that's my thing. If they take them out of the top 25, that drops Alabama.
So what? That's what.
Which I agree. That's what should do. But in order to keep Alabama up there, let's keep A&M in the top 25.
Right. And it's crazy. Going to 11 through 15, we have Baylor, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, BYU, Wisconsin. I love this Baylor being at number 11. It's higher than where I had them. I had them at 13. But as long as they were on top of Oklahoma, I give props to the committee because that's
props.
That's respect. They're on top of Oklahoma.
Hector, am I wrong? I mean, he wants to give him props for that. That's just basic to me.
Well,
listen, straight up. Listen,
identify all the wrong. At least they got something right.
Under no circumstances can a team I beat be ranked ahead of me. I'm sorry, I don't buy that. If you're ranking these teams week to week, you're saying Georgia's number 1 and Bama's number 2. You would think then that would mean that the number 2 team would beat the 3 team and the 3 would beat the 4. That's how this is supposed to be.
You're right. It's supposed to be like
that. Nothing pisses me off more than, and this is, they love to reverse this. And it's like, I just saw this. I just saw the game. I already know how they need to be ranked. So yeah, congratulations for finally getting one right.
And listen, keep that comment right there. Save that comment. You got that one right. Okay. That's going to be the motto. They got one right. Okay.
Yeah, because with Oklahoma, I mean, they were skating by with all their wins. I mean, there was not that many convincing wins, for even to be, talked about in a conversation in the top 4. Okay. Maybe 5 or 6, maybe as an argument, but never in the top 4. And Baylor just put an exclamation point on that for everybody. So.
Right. Obi, okay. I'll share something I shared with Hector over the weekend. I on all 4 downs during the week, I said Baylor would upset Oklahoma. Yet, when I decided to put some money down on the money line, I went Purdue over Ohio State.
How you get those 2 games confused?
I didn't get them confused.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
did.
get them confused. Purdue was paying out better, and I thought, let me see what happens here.
I
It was so
actually-
stupid. I don't know why. I knew that was going to happen.
I messed up on my bidding because Oklahoma coming out of the bye week, I thought they'll be more prepared against Baylor. You know, the practice, getting there. But Baylor dominated the whole entire game. As soon as they kicked off the game, it was a wrap. And Hector, you was there at the game. Do you felt that fire from the Bears? They are the Bearcats, right?
No, they're just the Bears.
Just the Bears. Well, they
Just the Bears.
played scrappy all over Oklahoma. I like them called the Bearcats, but anyways, that's
No,
Cincinnati, by the way.
that's Cincinnati, and it's already bad enough. We're getting the Bearcats to the Big 12 in a few years, so we don't want to confuse Bears and Bearcats when they come to the
Right.
Big 12. Straight
Duly
Bears.
noted. Duly noted.
And let me tell you, here in Waco, you can feel the energy about Baylor football. Okay. I mean, coming off the national championship in basketball, I mean, these Baylor Bears are just dominating with football right now. Okay. You can feel the energy as if we are going to Arlington and playing for the Big 12 title. Okay. You could just feel it. I mean, even with Fox Sports being there, I mean, it was just so energetic. Okay. And there was nothing stopping the Bears from the minute they got onto that field to the time the fans stormed the field. And believe it or not, I don't know if you know, Baylor University got fined $25,000 for that whole incident. But
yeah,
right now, Baylor is on fire. And I'm telling you, if they get it, a New Year's Six bowl game, watch out, whoever they play.
I believe you.
Watch out.
I believe you. Except this weekend, I think Baylor celebrated too much. They're going on the road to play against Kansas State, and that's a wild card game.
Yeah,
I call it a wild card.
It is.
But
By the
absolutely.
way, thank you. I know Jace isn't here tonight, and so somebody had to bust out one of those Jay sayings. You thought Oklahoma, let me get this right, was going to be extra prepared, like more prepared than normal because of the bye.
Right.
What does that mean? More prepared.
What I meant about being prepared was, I'm sorry, because you lost me with Jace.
That's a total Jace thing to say.
Yeah.
Like you thought they were going to be more prepared as if.
Whoa. I didn't say no. This has nothing to do with Jace because I could back it up. Listen.
Oh, I know it
they
has
have
to
the
do with Jace.
flaws.
That's a very Jace thing to say, is all I'm saying.
But they had their flaws when it comes to quarterback controversy, right? The Spencer Rattler started the season. He gets benched. You put Caleb Williams in there. The last two games before the bye week, Caleb Williams did not perform right. Okay. There was a lot of errors in that offense. You would think that in the the off week, they will tune that up, fix themselves. But you know what?
And be
There's just a lot more problems that was identified in that game. Their offensive line. I mean, they put Spencer Rattler back in the game just to see if magic will appear, and there was no magic.
You know what's funny? It's funny to think Oklahoma was 8 with a bunch of. I mean, with 8 not quality, nobody in the top 30 had they beaten.
None.
But no, I'm just saying. Don't you think it's funny that Oklahoma could literally have 9 wins, and those wins matter. Cincinnati's 9 wins don't matter, even though they knocked out a top 10 team. I don't know. This whole thing's sketchy, guys. That's all I'm saying. I don't know.
Here's the 8, 9, 10, the way they distributed on ESPN, Notre Dame, Oklahoma State, and Wake Forest. Look, I had Notre Dame a little bit higher, but I have my reasons with Michigan and Michigan State. I know that they're playing good football, but I don't think they're playing good enough to be ranked where they're at, especially now that Ohio State got to play those two teams. But Notre Dame should deserve to be number 6. Oklahoma State, listen, I got them in the top 10. They're good where they're at. I just don't feel like Oklahoma State is a strong enough team, if you know what I mean. And Wake Forest, they're just lucky, man. They got to convince me that they can smack Clemson around this weekend. Convince me that you're good enough to be in the top 10. I'm just not sold on Wake Forest.
I'm not sold on Wake Forest either. I mean, I'm glad North Carolina beat them. That just to me proves who they really are.
Outstanding. TIE Fighter, whoever you are. Joe, you know him?
Yeah, it's Tyler Bard.
Oh, Tyler, he changes his name. Outstanding. All right, let's continue on here with the top 7. I like the way they try to change things around to make it more legit here. But it's pretty obvious Georgia was going to be number 1. What I still don't like is the way they did 2, 3, and 4. I don't agree Alabama being number 2 because they do have that one loss. And the fact that you have Georgia that's also in the SEC, if Georgia beats Alabama in the SEC, there ain't going to be a 2-loss team in the top 4. It is not going to happen. Not this year, not ever. I'm telling. I don't care if that game was 20-19. It is not going to happen. It's just disrespect. It's disrespect to Ohio State.
That's what this whole top 25 list is loaded with disrespect. Do you think that they care?
Have they not make exceptions to the rules dating back to last year with COVID with Ohio State? Don't they like to bend the rules for certain teams?
Oh, yeah. Well, dude, not for nothing, but don't you feel like the way this is primed for Ohio State, Michigan, and Michigan State is the idea is they're going to get one of those teams from the Big Ten into that 4 spot.
Yes.
That is a guarantee that one of those 3 teams will have that 4 spot come hell or high water.
No, I'm going to tell you what, though. If and it's going to be interesting because Michigan State does travel to Ohio State, in which the Spartans have not won in Ohio for a very long time. Could it be a surprise? Could it be a surprise that he could pull an upset this weekend? And then Oregon goes against Utah. That's going to be another fabulous game, which I got a gut feeling that's going to be an upset. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen after this weekend's game. Should Cincinnati or one of the Michigans make it to the top 4?
I mean, if Michigan State somehow beat Ohio State, they would just flip 7-4.
I agree with you.
And they'll keep Cincy at 5.
And they'll
so
smack
you
like,
would really need Oregon to lose. And then that way, if Bama, you'll see, this will work out where Bama will drop from 2 to 4. Either one of the Michigans or Ohio State will be in that 3 spot, Georgia in the 1, and Oregon 2, if Oregon doesn't blow it between now and the end of the season. That's the plan here.
Hey, I don't trust Oregon
Hector,
either.
I wasn't even in the room with those guys. I could already tell you that they've laid this out a whole bunch of different ways to make sure one of those Big Ten teams is in that spot. You could drop Bama 2 to 4 if they lose to Georgia. Well, they lost to the best team. You'll see.
Okay, but
you'll see.
Now that I got you face to face here, Joe. Okay, the whole Michigan State, I don't agree with. Why is Michigan above Michigan State? But when I think it was last week or the week before, when I said on the comments that I still felt that Ohio State was better than Oregon, that right there between Michigan and Michigan State is a prime example of why I think that Ohio State is still a better team than Oregon, even though Oregon beat them. Because obviously they think that Michigan is still a better team than Michigan State, and they lost to them. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I get it.
There's no consistency in doing this.
There isn't. And that's why I said what I said that last time, the Baylor TCU situation. Yep. That happened like almost 5-6 years ago when they still ranked TCU above Baylor after Baylor beat them. And Baylor fans, they still hold that at TCU to this day about the 61-58. I mean, there's no consistency there. Michigan State should be number 6, if anything.
I 1,000% agree with that.
This is just ridiculous.
I see that and it infuriates me. And not for nothing. What was that, like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago? That game just happened.
Yeah.
It just happened. That is the ultimate slap in the face right there.
Yeah, it is. And any chance that Cincinnati has is they're going to need Alabama to lose. They're going to need maybe Oregon to lose. They're going to need maybe Ohio State.
They need
They
to
won't
win
either.
out. They're gonna need to win out and hope the two of those four teams lose, minus Georgia, because I got a feeling that Georgia's gonna be undefeated. They got a subdivision team this weekend. They finished with Georgia Tech. Once they get to
Hector,
the
how about a
SEC,
scenario where we get a whole bunch of losses and somehow Notre Dame ends up in front of Cincinnati?
it's not gonna happen, man.
No, but
Tell
they'll
me they
No.
wouldn't do that, OV.
No,
Tell me
no.
they wouldn't do that.
Then they should already put Notre Dame in front of Cincinnati right now.
Dude, if that's what it takes, if there are a series of slidings, and again, I love that Cincy's 5, and people are like, well, it's really good. And it's like, don't you see what they're doing?
I just hope there's not enough.
They're setting it up. Dude, 6, 7, 8, 9, they are primed to put those teams ahead of Cincinnati. The reason why Notre Dame is where Notre Dame is because, God forbid, they should have to put Notre Dame in front of Cincinnati. They'll do it if they have to, but they've got them primed where they don't need to. They've got other teams lined up to do that. Believe me, they spent all of their time figuring out multiple scenarios to shut Cincy out of this.
And is this Cincinnati's fate when they come to the Big 12? That if they find themselves at a 10-0 situation, that they still going to be on the outside
No,
looking?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
They did it with Oklahoma
Yes.
up to this point until they lost to Baylor. They were 9-0, and they kept
But
them
can you
out.
honestly say? But could you honestly say this year that Oklahoma really deserves to be in the top 6?
Yeah,
Wait, hold on. What is the objective of football? I mean, is it to win the game or is it to blow out your opponent?
Well, when you're playing against a
Because
non-conference
hold on,
team,
2 weeks ago, Bama squeaked by and nobody seemed to give a crap about quality of wins. Then they blow the doors off whoever they played. Who did they beat this weekend?
a no-namer, New Mexico State.
Yeah, right?
Right.
Give me a break with that. Why don't you call Coastal Carolina, see if they want to come play? But
They're not going to play. They don't have their starting quarterback, so they won't play.
please, I take Coastal without him. Anyway,
calls out for the season, man. Come on.
Listen, my point is simple. Okay, quality of the win matters when Alabama wins big. When Alabama skates by, nobody brings it up. Then all of a sudden, it's not a big deal. Then, well, you got to win your game. You got to win the team that's in front of you.
Yeah.
I don't understand this idea that you got to blow somebody's doors off. Not for nothing, too. Everybody complaining about last weekend Cincinnati when it was like 30-0 at the half. The Denver Broncos had the Cowboys 30-0 at the half, and they held on to win 30-16. And I've heard that referred to as Denver blowing Dallas's doors off. Okay? So in the second half, Cincinnati didn't blow them out of the water. So what? They're not a great team? Okay.
No, they're not a great team.
Nonsense. Nonsense. Great teams go undefeated. The objective is to win all of your games. Alabama, Ohio State, Oregon, and neither Michigan has done that. You got to win all your games. That's the objective here. You don't have to beat them by 30 or 40.
You will not base that at a strength of schedule. You don't care about the strength of schedule?
Listen, first of all, it's nonsense, and you literally just saw the way they stacked the SEC schedule. You just keep sticking the Mississippi States and the Auburns and Arkansas and every other half-ass SEC team with 3 or 4 losses that doesn't belong. And all that does is it continues to build up Georgia and Alabama's strength of schedule. So it's artificially inflated right off the bat. So spare me that nonsense. A win is a win.
I agree with you.
A win is a win. To be in a position to beat another football team, you had to do a lot of things right.
Mm-hmm.
So this idea that because you're not dominant, they don't know anything about Tulsa. You don't know anything about Tulane. Nobody knows. That's also their Super Bowl this year playing Cincinnati. That's the best thing that's going to happen to those kids this year is they get to play Cincinnati. Of course they're hyped up for it. Of course they're going to give them a game. You think they're going to roll over? That's the nonsense up to why is Cincinnati at some weird standard where they have to beat everybody's doors off? They have to win the game. They've done it every single week. Nobody else other than Georgia can make that claim.
I mean,
appreciate your passion, man. I really do, Joe.
And if we're going to talk about strength of schedule, why even put them in? Why even give them that schedule? Give them a tough schedule. You know what I'm saying? Give them something to play for if you're gonna judge them by their strength of schedule. You know what I'm saying? Because they're doing what you expect them to do with the schedule you're giving them. They're beating the brick. They're beating them. They're winning. And then you're gonna say Power 5? No, it's the SEC. That's it. Because if we're talking Power 5, then Oklahoma, up to this point, before Baylor, should have been in the conversation of the top 4 because they are winning their games. They were winning their games. But you want style points. You want all this and that. I mean, this is ridiculous. Every year is going to be an SEC team always on top because they're talking about strength of schedule. Then you know what? Let's change it up. Let's put some harder teams and see if the SEC is still a powerhouse conference. Let's make some teams play some good teams. I mean, this is ridiculous. You know
I think that what they should do is they should mandate
the idea of there being someone that actually schedules the non-conference games and not that you just go pick out whatever you want.
No, I was just like I was saying is that they should mandate a conference versus conference like they do in basketball.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, I'm with you.
You know, you got that
over.
week. Was it that week when you go ACC versus the Big Ten or something like that, right? And you have like that tournament. And then you go with that wins and losses. Oh, well, this conference just beat this conference, right? Yeah. And then I think it should be based like that every season. Just change it up. Like the NFL. And the NFL, you have the NFC East versus what? The NFC South. You know, you got to play all those games. Everybody else, you pick and choose who's going to be playing in your schedule. So I like that. But I'm interested to see how all this is going to play out in a couple of years with all these teams are moving to different conferences, you know, and see how that is going to be stacked up. And will they continue playing 12 games or will they extend it to 14 games? You know, because those were in the talks. Hold on. And then, of course, we're talking about the playoffs, right? Extending from 4 teams to up to 12 teams. So there's a lot of talks. And I mean, I'm convinced that pretty soon, and I give it within 3 years, that it'll extend to 12 teams. I believe so. But as far as these teams moving to different conferences, I'm just curious to see how's that going to play out. Especially, look, Nick Saban's not going to be the head coach forever for Alabama, you know, and there's always that phase that certain teams are always going to be on top. But sooner or later, we're going to get to see a new team, and I'm just curious to see how's that going to be in the future. But as for now, you guys are on point. You know,
how about we just throw out all the 50 bowls they got and just make it a December madness and put 64 of the greatest football teams in a battle before Christmas, and then Happy New Year. Whoever wins by January 1st is the champion. I mean,
we have a gauntlet match.
That's pretty
much it. Yeah,
I want that.
And then every round it could be the Peach Bowl, the Orange Bowl, the Alamo Bowl, the Shrimp Pie Bowl. Until you get there. I mean,
bowl,
come on, you might as well.
Bro, if you could tell the NCAA they could have more bowls, you don't think they would jump at that? The Cotton Picking Bowl. I mean, there are so many bowls that they can add.
Look, I like
it. I'd like a tournament. I think that'd be brilliant.
Look, I was explaining to Hector a couple weeks ago. It's like, look, they just made a new bowl called the Fenway Bowl, and it starts this year. And guess who hosts the Fenway Bowl? The American Elite. The AAC. I keep messing up their names, but the AAC.
The AAC is
and the
stupid
ACC
name.
Are going to represent in the Fenway Bowl.
So now we got a Pinstripe Bowl and we got a Fenway Bowl. How many more baseball teams we're going to come up with a bowl game? You got the Yankees and the Red Sox now. What's going next?
Maybe Houston will have a trash can bowl.
I mean, Baltimore's going to hold the Camden Yard Bowl. I mean, we're going to have the Toronto Blue Jays playing the Canada Bowl. I mean, come on.
That might be fun. Little Canadian rules.
Yeah. Be icy and have a lot of snow. I mean, it could be within a blizzard. I want
a bowl game. I want the Hector's Hell Freezes Over bowl game. Can I have that one? I mean, everybody else got a bowl game.
You're going to be in the Lockheed Martin Military Bowl, which is coming up on December 23rd.
22nd.
22nd, excuse me. So that's going to be pretty awesome.
Yes.
Because they always, Lockheed Martin always throws a good party over there at TCU.
Hope we don't get another fight.
Yeah, last year there was a little roll rumble going on with Mississippi State and I forgot the
Tulsa.
other team.
Tulsa.
So, but absolutely, man, absolutely. There goes Joe. He's disappearing over there.
I accidentally clicked on a button. I didn't mean.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
He's calling his agent. He wants the CMG podcast ball.
You know what? That could be in the works.
I'd love it.
Make that happen, Joe.
He's going to have 2 5-loss teams in it.
Hey, but before we go,
wait, Penn State is Penn State good? Does anybody know if Penn State is good? I'm still not sure.
You know what?
You know who I want in my bowl?
You
know who's going to my bowl game? My bowl game's simple. It's gonna come. I want Wisconsin or Minnesota versus Penn State, and it's going to be called the "Are They Good Bowl?" Because I feel like we spend all year, every year, really trying to figure out if those 3 teams are good or not good, and it always ends up they're not good, as I've noticed.
But you know who's not good right now? It is Penn State, because I believe that their head coach Franklin may be on his way out and heading to USC. I do believe that. And as far as the Texas A&M Aggies concerned, I believe in the head coach. I believe in Fisher that he won't leave because he has the potential of having the number 1 recruiting class this year. He just signed the number 1 defensive tackle, and he's continued to recruit better. But a lot of people saying that just because he's talking a lot of smack, saying he's not going.
Yeah.
Like any other coaches.
Am I wrong? Does he not seem like the type of douchebag who would be like not even entertaining the thought and then say something like, I just recruited the number 1 class. If I go there, I'd have to play against him. I would be the stupidest human being. I'm convinced. Yes. That sounds about dead on accurate. You are that stupid, I'm going to guess. Yeah.
Oh, man, you can't do that.
I'm saying
Why would you leave a program?
He opened himself up to it. His words, not mine, Hector. Tell him.
Yeah, but you're going to
go
to a team that's your rival so you could lose to the team that you were supposed to be coaching? Hey, get out of here, man.
He's in it. He'll do it. Watch.
I know. My gut tells me a little bit that he will, because
the more we're talking about it, the more we're talking about it, the more we know it's going to happen.
The people that run LSU actually recruited him to be the coach of Texas A&M. So, yeah. But anyhow, one more time, let me put on the top 25. That's what's going on. And again, I am also disappointed that Army's not in the top 25, but they put Mississippi State. But it's cool. You know, it is what it is.
You just can't be happy with Georgia at number 1. You need Army at 25 to call it a list.
No. If Army got their team back,
calm down.
Nah, I will defend Army all the way. I was asked that Sunday.
He's gonna want Connecticut in the top 25.
Oh, no. Did you know they're ranked number 1? Connecticut is ranked number 1 as the worst college football team in Division 1. Because they lost to UMass. Yeah. But hey, don't worry.
The worst.
Jim Mora is going to take that team, turn it around in 3 years. Guaranteed. I believe in him.
I think it's nice that UConn has a coach that's a name. I figured they would go with some unknown, lower division guy or whatever. I'm glad they brought. I think that you got to put a little respect on UConn, and I think it'll only help them, to have a former NFL coach.
Absolutely
recruiting. And that could only help UConn. I feel like, and they could use a lot of help.
Look, he was able to take the Atlanta Falcons to the NFC Championship. I don't think he ever went to the Super Bowl. But correct me if I'm wrong, Hector. I don't think he went to the Super Bowl with Atlanta.
No.
I think Dan Reeves did that, if I'm not mistaken. But even though they lost, Atlanta loses all the big games anyway. But to go and coach for Seattle, and then he did briefly go and coach UCLA. And I got a feeling that he's going to do wonders with UConn, especially that he was a Fox Sports analyst. getting all those intel and everything else. I think it sets him up to be successful. The question is, can he get a team to recruit well, and can he recruit within Connecticut and get all these all-stars from going to different colleges and stay in Connecticut? I think that will be very helpful. And I think Joe, you and I have been talking about this on this show a few weeks ago about what Connecticut should do. But I'm telling you, man, give it 2 or 3 years, man. UConn will be on the map.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're exactly right. I think for UConn, I really do think it starts with keeping your best players in Connecticut and wanting to go to UConn and making it a destination and not something that feels like you screwed up.
Absolutely.
And have to work your way out of there. So, yeah, I think Jim Moore is a step in the right direction.
I mean, he's done good when he was with UCLA.
Yeah. And again, I forgot why they had a falling out, to be honest with you. I don't know if he was trying to get a lot of rumors saying he was trying to get that Washington job, which right now the Washington Huskies are looking for a head coach. I hope they don't try to trump and get Mora over there. So let's leave that alone, because Mora alumni is in Washington. But hey, Wednesday we're gonna have NFL picks with Hector and myself. I don't even want to talk about that.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy, Hector got me on about a couple of games, and then Thursday we're gonna talk about our weekend games in college football with Joe, Jason, myself. So you guys want to stay tuned. So if you guys got your money ready to start betting on, whether it's DraftKings, FanDuel, or what's the other one? Sugar House. Play Sugar House. That's right. If you want to get ready for that, tune into our show, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Wednesday and Thursday. You don't want to miss it. And also subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you like our show, leave a comment. I appreciate all those that supported me on Sunday with a brief prediction on our show. There's a lot of football still coming up, man. A lot of football, and there's more news about the XFL you don't want to miss out on Thursday. So, Joe, Hector, thank you for being on the show. And on behalf of CMG Sports Podcast, thank you for watching. Take care, everyone. Have a great night.